Ooh, twirly. I know this video has been done to death already, but there was just so much juicy content here to dissect that I couldn't help myself. Hence, this video was born. So I'll get right into it. Well, this is awkward.
Are you able to understand the irony of responding to the perceived political correctness of the left with exasperated reactionary hypersensitivity of your own?
Well, no. We tend to express emotion in parallel with an argument, whereas political correctness, emotion is the argument. I don't see these two scenarios as equivalent.
What is it with you people and skulls?
Well, what you've got to understand is Davis already knows the keyboard shortcut to your pants.
How do you define right-wing? Anti-SJWs often have an aversion to being labelled as right-wing, yet they regularly defend the right and bash the left.
I don't think it's fair to even say I defend particular people so much as whenever I see something that seems intellectually dishonest, I feel compelled to challenge the source of the dishonesty. Who exactly I'm defending isn't really that important to me because I'm defending an ideal or a principle more so than an actual person.
Therefore, why is being labelled right-wing a bad thing to you?
Just because we're criticizing people who are left-wing doesn't mean that we're criticizing the left-wing, and even if we were criticizing the left-wing views of those people, that wouldn't mean that you are the only left-wing. Personally, while I'm not much of an extremist either way, I'd probably identify more left-wing than right-wing. I mean, I'm pro-choice, I want most drugs to be legalized, I'm in favour of personal freedom and equality of opportunity. I'd want a medium-sized government and a moderate amount of welfare, probably more than what America has now, but a bit less than what the UK has. So I don't have an emotional reaction to being called right-wing, it just seems a bit silly.
And if it's because right-wing is used as a pejorative, can you not see how labelling people as SJWs or regressives is also pejorative?
Yeah, SJW is supposed to be a pejorative. Did no one ever tell you? Of course, we are for freedom of speech after all, so you can insult me any way you want.
Rather than telling people you disagree with to drink bleach, wouldn't it be more productive for you to have an actual conversation about the issues you feel matter?
Not if they listen to me. But seriously, this is someone putting himself forward as a representative of a group who contain the walking blockbot meme, prevent people from joining discussions about themselves, consider no platforming, and in many cases platform removing, to be a good way to stop discussion, throw a fit when they can't stop discussion, proceed to disrupt the discussion anyway in the rare instance that it does manage to go ahead, and they're asking us why we won't engage in discussion with them?
You claim to be proponents of rational, logical, evidence-based argumentation. That's great. That's entirely laudable. But when I look at your online activity, when I look at, I don't know, for example, your Twitter feed, that's often not what I see. How do you reconcile this claim to be evidence-based and rational and logical against stuff like, oh, I was just trolling you, oh, I was just shitposting, or TLDR?
Why do you think you have to be serious all the time in order to be a rational person? Did anyone else see this for the first time and was like, is he in a hot tub? He kind of looks like he's in a hot tub, but I don't think he's in a hot tub. It looks like he should be in a hot tub, but he isn't.
Are you aware that the ridiculous buzzwords you helped to popularize, like SJW and cuck and regressive, have all lost whatever meaning they once had and only serve now as casual insults and pejoratives to derail any meaningful conversation?
I don't understand how SJW or regressive have lost their meaning. I mean, when someone says SJW, you know what they're talking about. You know what they're talking about when they say regressive. I mean, the two terms are more or less interchangeable. And I don't think I've ever heard someone use the term cuck in a way that wasn't tongue-in-cheek. I mean, it wasn't really a serious term to begin with that I've seen. I mean, if it was, then it must have been quite a long time ago now in internet land. But let's look at some terms that actually have changed their meaning. Racism is more or less the same as before, except not only whites can embody it.
Irony of
Oppression has become synonymous with annoyance. Misogyny is disagreeing with a feminist. Disagreement is harassment. But only if a man disagrees with a woman, of course. Guilty can mean either not proven innocent or just accused of something, depending on who you're asking. So you'll have to forgive me if people calling each other names on the internet isn't at the top of my list of concerns.
For the last time, what is it with you people and committing actual literal felonies? Like, you might want to work on that?
I don't know who this Ralph guy is, so maybe I've just been living under a rock this whole time. But I do not know why you would try to take the moral high ground here. It really seems like shooting yourself in the foot, considering what SJWs have pulled off within the last few years. Do I really have to go and collect clips of all the things SJWs have done recently? There was Nita Sarkeesian taking hundreds of thousands of dollars and then giving very little in return. I don't even like video games because they're all gross and stuff. Then a while later it's like, I've been an avid gamer my whole life. Give me money so I can study video games. There's the last group of SJWs who were Flavour of the Month trying to get Thunderfoot fired by lying to his employer that he's some sort of Nazi with skinhead followers. I can assure you I've still got at least half of my hair remaining. There's Hannibal the Victor, who turned out to be some sort of child molester. Was it Tim or the hot tub guy who tried to edit words into Bering's mouth that implied that he condones rape? There was the girl who tried to falsely claim that our good friend Humongous harassed her. There was the feminists who pulled the alarm on the men's rights meeting. The feminists who tore down the men's rights posters. And the thing is, I don't blame you for anyone else's actions. I mean, we're individualists, we don't have a collectivist blame thing going on, that's more your thing. But you want to watch out for the pot calling the kettle black scenario. I mean, it's very hypocritical to point the finger when there's about a dozen more reasons to point the finger back.
If SJWs are bad because they spend too much time whining and don't talk about real problems, then why aren't you talking about those problems instead of just whining about the other people over and over and over for literally years?
It's easy, it works, it's easy.
I mean, in the scale of priorities, that's like even lower, right? You know, you've got the real problems, you've got the things that feminists worry about, and then you've got you going, how dare they? How dare they have different priorities from me? Why can't they do what I do? Whine about whining. Forever. For a living. That's healthy.
Well, let's logic this logic to see if it logics. And this is going to be a bit exaggerated to demonstrate my point in a more clear fashion, but the principle still applies regardless of the extremity of the situation. Say we have a feminist. She says, every time a guy looks at me, it's sexual harassment. What we need to do is castrate all males. Now, this feminist is complaining about something quite trivial, i.e. men looking at her, but the implications of what she says are quite severe. So you see, the flaw in this logic is that even if someone's complaining about something trivial, that doesn't mean the consequences of people listening to them are going to be trivial. And then, hence of course, refuting them becomes quite important. I mean, I'm not really sure how much influence we can really have on the actual public perception of these people and their views, but we can at least try to inject some sort of rationality into the conversation.